Have you ever noticed that no matter how much inner work you do, you still end up in the same patterns? The same looping thoughts, the same emotional reactions, the same relationships, the same cycles repeating over and over and over again. You set the intentions, you say the affirmations, you do the visualizations, but nothing really ever changes. This is where most people think that they're the problem, that they lack discipline, that they need to change their mindset or effort harder. But this is rarely ever the case. Our thoughts are important, but they aren't the sole reason we are living the life that we're living. It is all because of our nervous system. Your nervous system is the command center of your reality. It determines and dictates how you feel in every given moment, how you perceive and experience the world, and how you either react or respond to life. If you are stuck in a sympathetic survival fight or flight state, which most of this world is in, then you are going to be looping in a constant state of fear, anxiety, overwhelm, confusion, emptiness, all of which is going to project out and create the life that you are experiencing. And so if you want to change your reality, you must change the state of your nervous system. And so in this video, I'm going to outline in depth how you can begin to break free from these patterns, these cycles, these trauma loops, so that you can create a new paradigm, one that is rooted in peace, in prosperity, and joy, fulfillment, and freedom. And of course, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share this with your friends and family who could benefit from this message. Look forward to taking you through this journey. Let's dive in. I am really excited to dive into this really special presentation today. And I can tell you this firsthand that if you really take in what I'm sharing and expressing, if you really begin to embody this wisdom that has been put into this presentation, I can promise you that you will see exponential positive change happen in your life. This right here is the fundamentals and the baseline of all creation and conscious manifestation. And so if you want to create a whole new life, then this is where it all begins. So let's go. So there's a whole veil that is happening behind creation, right? Creation, as I mentioned in all my videos, is simply a projection of our own consciousness. As the law of correspondence in Hermetic states, as within, so without. And so on a very base level, there's many manifestation teachers out there telling you that you need to change your thoughts. Perhaps you need to shift your beliefs. And yet all of that is true, but we can't do that from the level of the mind. We have to do it from the baseline, the level of the nervous system, because this is how you experience reality. And if you don't understand it, then you're going to keep trying to change your life from the surface level, from the mind, rather than from the command center that's governing everything. And so it's very important for us to go within ourselves. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. I'm going to outline here the whole mechanism and the metaphysics behind the nervous system, how it works, so you can begin to see how these patterns begin to loop in your reality. And so, as I mentioned, it is your internal command center, and it's more than just biology, right? We can speak to the science, and I'm going to get into that a little bit, but it's your nervous system, it's electrical, it's energetic, it's perceptual, and it is constantly interpreting reality through vibration, frequency, and sensation, right? And so you are emitting a field around you, a field of energy that is literally communicating information to your reality, to your relationships, to your family. You are always emitting some signal, some vibrational frequency that is going out into your field. And what you feel shapes what you perceive. What you perceive shapes what you create. And so you're either creating from a regulated or a dysregulated state, right? And this is informing that field around you. And I would say that, 90% or more of humanity is stuck in this dysregulated survival sympathetic state of being, which we're going to get into in a bit. And this is why we ultimately see the world that we see, right? Because we're all creating our own individual reality. And then collectively, we are also manifesting and creating a reality. And although we all have our own version, our own parallel version of reality, those are all meshing together in the quantum field. We'll get into that in a bit. And so when we're regulated, we're in a state of coherence, resonance, clarity, alignment, attraction. When we're dysregulated, we're in a state of distortion, contraction, tension, and resistance. And so your nervous system and your subconscious mind work together, right? So a lot of systems, they really speak to the subconscious mind and how important that is. And I agree with that. But that's only one part of the picture. If we don't consider the nervous system and how that actually influences through a biofeedback loop within us, then we can't really change, right? So you could think about like this. Your nervous system is what is experiencing life itself, right? And the lens in which we experience that from obviously comes from our past. But in the early years, as a sponge from the formative years of 0 to 7, this is where everything is wide open, our nervous system as well as our subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is like a supercomputer, and it records everything in real time. So you can access all memories. You can access the quantum field, the Akasha, through the subconscious mind. Now, over time, as we experience life through the lens of our nervous system, that then goes up and has become stored as programs that run in the background and on autopilot. And 95% of our reality is often operated from autopilot. That meaning that all of what you've absorbed within you is what is the outpicturing of what you see and experience in your everyday life. And oftentimes we're looping in past patterns, right? Wounds, unresolved experiences. And that creates a very narrow band or a lens in which we see life. This is through fear, through lack, through limitation, through scarcity and victimization. And we believe that life is happening to us, and therefore we are fighting against it and praying for something to change when all of it stems from within. And so ideally through this progression today, you will come into a state in which you begin to powerfully, consciously create your reality from a new state. And so again, most of humanity is living in the sympathetic survival state. This is where your system is mobilizing to protect you. It's constantly scanning your environment for threat, and it's asking one question: am I safe? This part of you, it prepares you to act, react, and respond to perceived threat. Now, again, not to demonize this state, because this is necessary for when we are actually in danger, right? And this is a part of our natural wiring. However, because of the collective and individual trauma that we've experienced over many generations and lifetimes, this has collected within our field and therefore leaving us in this constant state where we are looping and we are acting from a place of survival. This is where the body is activated, we're tense, the heart rate is increased, the breath becomes fast and shallow. And you can see most people, as a breath worker, as a practitioner of the breath, I see this all the time in people where everybody's just breathing from their chest, right? And I'm going to go over how this is actually imprinted and why this is happening. But really, this is creating the same looping fear and anxiety when you're in this breath pattern. But this is because we're stuck in this sympathetic survival state. And there's 4 core expressions of this state. There's fight, which is all about control, anger, frustration, and reactivity. We are fighting against our life. We are fighting against our emotions. We are fighting against others, fighting against the flow. There's flight, which is anxiety, urgency, overthinking, and restlessness. This is where we want to run and avoid everything. And so we can exist in these two, or even in a freeze state where we're shut down, we're numb, we're disconnected, and we don't do anything at all. Or into fawn, which is all about people pleasing, self-abandonment, and over accommodating. So generally what will happen is when we're stuck in this state, we'll then go into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And this is going to then loop, cycle the same thoughts, same beliefs, the same patterns in all aspects of your life. Whether you're talking about relationships, money, doesn't matter what it is. This is what's controlling what you're experiencing. Then, of course, on the other hand, we have the parasympathetic, regulated state, which most people aren't used to or know that well. And this is where your system is returning to balance. It's that exhale. It's where you can rest, relax, repair, connect, and create. In this state, your breath is slow, it's rhythmic. You're releasing tension, your muscles are softened, your heart is slowed, and your awareness begins to expand. You begin to not only feel safe in your body, but you become more calm, present, open, grounded. From here, everything becomes clear, your emotions stabilize, and you gain access to your intuition, your creativity. And this is where you begin to create from a really empowered state of being. Now, on average, it takes 7 years to repair the nervous system from all of the damage, the imprints, the traumas, the wounding that we've experienced in our life. So this isn't always an overnight thing. You may have breakthroughs and cathartic releases, and this is what we do in our breathwork sessions is we're supporting the life force to move within us, to break open and break free some of these imprints and patterns that have been looping, and then begin to recode and rewire ourselves for safety. But this is an everyday practice. This is coming back over and over again to finding stillness, to pausing, to breathing deep. And it's these little micro pauses throughout our day that then create the sustainable experience of being in a parasympathetic regulated state. And I'm going to take you through an exercise in a little bit to support you in this. So shift your state, change your life. Okay. So when you shift your innermost state and you're existing within this beautiful, coherent toroidal field of energy, you're broadcasting a new frequency. So when you're regulated, you're broadcasting safety, openness, trust, and allowance. When you're dysregulated, you're broadcasting survival, urgency, fear, protection, victimization, lack, limitation, and beyond. And so we are constantly, because we're all energetic beings, right? And when we're in any field, whether we're in a grocery store, we're walking down the street, we're in a big group setting, we're in our households with our family, we are informing our field around us. And that's why it's so important, especially those of us who are parents, like myself, to really do this work to become regulated to the best of our ability every day and allow this to be a state in which we live from, because then the people around us are co-regulating with our nervous system. And so when there's disruption, there's anger, there's reactivity, there's all these things, this is because everybody's nervous systems is in a dysregulated state. And so as you do this work, you are literally changing the field around you. And this is what is ultimately going to change your life. And so if you don't like what you see on the outside, then we must change the frequency that we're broadcasting from the inside. So I want to walk you through this. It's very important to understand how trauma works. And we go through this loop. Okay. So generally, especially in childhood, we all go through these different events and experiences. Some might be micro fractures, some might be macro fractures, where we're all going to experience some level of trauma and wounding in this human experience. It's a part of how we actually learn and turn our wounds into wisdom and turn this into our medicine. But nonetheless, this is how this loop works. So we experience this event, there's something overwhelming, intense happens physically or emotionally, and this is creating where we begin to become activated. We enter that sympathetic state where we shift into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, generally into fight or flight. We either go into it or we run away from it, right? And this is where then our nervous system becomes activated. From here, we go into this processing. But unfortunately, because we haven't really learned the tools, especially early on, we go into incomplete processing, where basically the loop of whatever is happening, right, is stuck in this never-ending pattern. And this is where then the imprint is stored within us, where the body holds it as tension, some sort of sensation, emotional memory, and the subconscious encodes it as a pattern. So basically, and when I take clients through, when I take groups through this process, which I'm going to do with you in just a bit, we can begin to observe and feel into our experience when we break through the layers. Sometimes people are so numb and it takes some time to really break through because it's been such a constant living in a constant mind-centric state where they've lost connection with the body. But what we will begin to find is that when we are tuning into the body, we will find these deep places of tension, of tightness, of stress, of constriction, of resistance. And that is where the imprint is stored. And once that imprint is stored, right, then our breathing shifts and we become shallow, restricted, or held in this baseline state of anxiety, fear, of overwhelm, because we're breathing from our chest from being in this fight or flight. Then from there, we become stuck in the past where our nervous system keeps looping, right? In reliving the same experience in our present moment. And so this cycle just keeps happening, right? And it's through this loop, we're then attracting and magnetizing people in our lives, right? Partners, intimate partners, friends, different people in our life to mirror back our trauma, our wounding. And when we become aware of this, we can begin to then break free from it and now not become victim to it. But it's going to keep looping until we actually take a moment to look at it, to feel it, to experience it. And so I'm going to take you through how to actually break through this loop because it's all an internal process. Your relationships and the people around you and your circumstances, your situations, these are all beautiful mirrors to help bring you back into yourself to where these loops are happening, right? And so you can use them as catalysts and as beautiful teachers to help bring you back within and actually break through the loop. So the first part of this process is attuning. So we want to feel into the body and sensations, any tension or subtle clues. So I invite you right now, even in this moment, just to close down your eyes. Of course, if you're not driving or operating a vehicle, but you're in a place where you can just relax and come back within. And what you want to do is okay, and so now we get into breaking the loop. So how do we actually break free from this trauma loop? The first step is attune. We must feel into our body, into the sensations, the tension, the tightness. Where is that manifesting in our body? And I can almost bet that right now, even as you tune into this, you can really, if I asked you, where does fear show up in your body? You probably would be able to answer that. It might be in the chest, it might be in the belly, in the stomach, in the solar plexus, in the sacral. And as we go deeper into this, which I'm going to take you through a little bit of an exercise here in a bit, that's when everything comes to the surface. So from there, we become aware of the emotions and the wounds beneath the surface. So begin to observe the sensations and allow ourselves to zoom into it. And this might feel a little dysregulating at first, especially if the sensations are really intense. If there's a lot of pain or trapped energy, we might have to ease into it. But this is where we begin to even observe and ask, what is it that is being communicated to us through these sensations? And generally what we'll find is some level of an emotion or a wound. This could be fear, anger, sadness. This could be a wound of rejection, abandonment, betrayal. And generally what we'll find is we'll go through the emotional layer, fear being the first layer, anger being the second layer, and sadness being the third. And once we're through that, we'll then probably touch into a wound that was instilled into us, in which we're, not feeling fully whole. And that we are in looping in this wound of rejection, abandonment, betrayal, guilt, shame, separation. And it is through that we begin to breathe into these parts of ourselves, because we must feel it to heal it. And as we acknowledge, we communicate, and we breathe into this part of ourselves, we allow it to be set free. And it is here where we affirm in this relaxed state of being that I am safe, that I am safe to feel, that I am safe to be here with this emotion in this moment. Because for most of our lives, we've been running from this thing because it's felt too scary to face. But it is only when we face it and we breathe into it, we then allow the sensation, emotion to move without resisting or suppressing. We allow it to become integrated back into the whole rather than separating from it. And once it becomes integrated into the whole, we begin to soften the body. And the charge around it begins to release. It may not hold as intense of a charge as it did before this. Now, there's layers to this. Doesn't mean by one time going through this that you're going to be free. But I will say that the more that you practice this and you go through this, begin to attune yourself to your body, to the intelligence of what your body is sharing, your nervous system, this is when we begin to shift our state. And this is exactly why I teach breath, and why breath is the fundamental and most instrumental tool that we have in technology to shift our state out of survival into a space of thriving, out of dysregulation into regulation, out of confusion into coherence, into clarity. And it's all moving through this cycle here. And so as we do that, we move into this beautiful heart-brain coherence where our nervous system is regulated. When we're in this regulated state, we move into heart-mind coherence where your breath slows, your body softens in the presence, and you emit a signal of safety, calm, clarity, and receptivity. And it's from this state your intuition opens and you begin to enter an effortless flow with life. Instead of fighting against it, you allow reality to organize around you. Now, this is because not only is our nervous system a beacon of energy, a frequency that's being emitted, but it is also our heart. And when these are flowing, we're flowing in a coherent toroidal field of energy. And that field then is creating a massive ripple effect in your reality. And it is from here all true prayer, intention, invocation is answered and experienced. And we don't have to force and chase and strive and do. We can create from a place of alignment, and we can share from a place of excitement rather than being in this constant state of running, this constant state of anxiety. And this all begins by creating an internal sense of safety. And so what I want to share with you is a very short meditation that you could do every day just to come back into that internal sense of safety, into that place where you feel safe in your own body, in your own existence, in your own avatar. Because from there, that is where you are going to see the massive ripple effect of change in your life. And so again, come back to this video, come back to this meditation, and allow it to guide you back into regulation, back into coherence. Welcome to this meditation to cultivate inner safety. Let's take this moment to anchor into our space. Either lying down or sitting up, feet fully rooted into the floor, into the earth. Placing one hand on your belly and the other on your chest. Taking a deep inhale through the nose and slow, steady exhale out the mouth. Again, deep breath in and deep breath out. In today's meditation, we're going to resource safety from within through the power of our breath, and through the power of mantra. Our sense of safety is the precursor to greater intimacy, trust, abundance, and freedom. When the body feels safe, the breath deepens and the heart softens. From this place, we no longer need to protect, chase, or control. We simply allow life to meet us where we are. And in this moment, with your hands placed gently on your body, gonna breathe in. I am safe to relax. I am safe to relax. I am safe to relax.
feel. I am safe to feel. I am safe to feel. I am safe to let go. I am safe to let go. I am safe to let go. I am safe to soften. I am safe to soften. I am safe to soften. I am safe to surrender. I am safe to surrender. I am safe to surrender. I am safe to trust. I am safe to trust. I am safe to trust. I am safe to be me. I am safe to be me. I am safe to be me. Just continuing to breathe in this rhythmic motion. Relaxing deeply into this moment, into these truths, restoring the sense of safety in your body, in your breath, in your nervous system. Yourself to be set free and to return to a place of wholeness.
I hope this practice was supportive for you and that ultimately brings you into a place of alignment where you can truly step into your authentic soul expression, where you can create from this place of abundance, from this place of joy, fulfillment, and freedom within yourself. And for those of you that are ready to dive deeper, I have a wealth of resources, wisdom, information for you to dive into inside of my online school community called the Mastery Collective. This is where we do that powerful, profound, deep inner work so that we can be the beacons of change, of inspiration, of empowerment for this world. And so if you want to dive in with me and over 700 seekers, leaders, and change makers, now is the time. I've dropped the link below, and I can't wait to see you on the inside. Sending you positive energy, peace, and love. Take care.